Is the richest man in the world the shadow president of the United States? Let's talk about it. Let's look into it. Elon Musk is doing a lot with his doge commission, a lot of it illegal. Um, the courts haven't seemed to be able to stop him yet, and he's making a lot of mistakes along the way. He just claimed this week on Twitter that Social Security is paying millions of people 150 years old a Social Security check, and he was 100% wrong. I'm going to go over this article real quick and then I'll show you some videos of how much he was wrong. Musk misreads Social Security data, millions of dead people not on benefits. That's what the experts say. President Donald Trump and Elon Musk, in their hunt for fraud, waste, and abuse in the federal government, are falsely implying millions of dead Americans are receiving Social Security benefits. Experts told ABC News it started in the Oval Office last week when Musk, facing reporters for the first time since the Department of Government Efficiency began its aggressive overhaul of the federal government, said he found crazy things in the Social Security system, including, he said, people who are 150 years old. Now, this is all just Musk not reading the information correctly. There's a reason for it. They're using a really old um, coding system called COBOL, and because of that, they have to when they put people in the system, they have to change the numbers. I'll show you in a video in a minute that explains it much better. The billionaire has only built on that claim on social media, including screenshots of data he said shows millions of people marked as alive in Social Security system when they clearly can't be. Maybe Maybe Twilight is real and there are a lot of vampires collecting Social Security, he wrote in one post. Trump's all about snark on his X. And when you're talking about serious matters like this, snark is not helpful. Then on Tuesday, Trump repeated many of the same numbers Musk put out as he read from an extensive list at a news conference in Mar a Lago. Now, the big thing is how many of these people got paid? Where are they getting paid? Where are they getting paid? How many of them were getting paid Social Security? Because if that's the case, it's a massive fraud. Trump indicating shock told reporters. It's so hard to read Trump's quotes because he babbles. Social Security policy experts and economists told ABC News that they are getting it wrong, contending Musk is misreading the agency's record system. The Social Security Administration has multiple databases, including one that gets sent to the Treasury Department each month outlining who is receiving payments. According to agency statistics, of the 67 million people who receive Social Security benefits, only 0.1% are over the age of 100. So when they're throwing around numbers like tens of millions of people are getting Social Security, well, there's only 67 million total. What are they talking about? Half the people are actually dead. The numbers are so ridiculous. It's not true, said Kathleen Romick, the director of Social Security and Disability Policy at the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. SSA make SSA does make some improper payments, but they are not widespread, roughly 1%. And most of the mistakes made are overpayments to living beneficiaries, according to a July 2024 Inspectors General report. That report found from 2015 through 2022, the SSA made $71.8 billion in improper payments. The agency issues $1 trillion in benefits every year. That's a 7 year span, 71 billion. I mean, that's not great, but out of a trillion in benefits each year, it's a pittance. Another database, experts said, is called Numident and contains a record of every person who has ever been assigned a social security number. There are people in the system, they said, who have died but don't have a date of death recorded because they lived long before electronic records were established. This data set, experts said, has nothing to do with monthly payments, but appears to be very likely where Musk is getting information that there are millions of people ages 100 to 369 in the system. See, Musk could have easily found all this out if he didn't fire everybody and just go in there and take a wrecking ball to everything and actually listen to the experts who work there because they know how the system works. But because so many people say he's a genius, he thinks he's a genius, but he's not actually a genius. That's right. He was born rich. He bought companies that were already established. He's not a genius. Stop listening to people say that. Justin Wolfers, a professor of public policy and economics at the University of Michigan, said it is transparently obvious that he's misinterpreting or misrepresenting the data, but noted Musk is not showing his work. If any of you went to college, you know, college math, calculus, you have to show your work. Why isn't Musk showing his work? Didn't he say that in that interview last week that he was totally transparent on Doge and Twitter, the Doge website? He lied about that too. Still, his insinuations that the presence of such information within SSA is nefarious or new is also misleading, experts said. The government has known the Numident system is flawed in this way for years. Numident, I guess it's pronounced. According to audits, a 2023 Inspector General report found nearly 19 million people born before 1920 who do not have death information in the record. The SSA decided not to address discrepancies because of how much it would cost to fix, upwards of $9 million, and the limited benefit it would have on the agency, the report noted. Romig, who previously worked in the Social Security Administration, also emphasized there are multiple checks in place to prevent deceased individuals from getting payments. The agency has a policy to automatically stop payments at the age of 115. So as soon as somebody turns 115, they don't get payments anymore, whether they're still living or not. And after a certain age, they check to see that older beneficiaries are still using Medicare benefits. This isn't the first time Musk has spread false, misleading information in the Oval Office. Last week, he backtracked on a claim spread prolifically by the Trump administration that USAID was sending $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza and Hamas. In fact, the condoms were sent to a province in Mozambique named Gaza as part of the HIV prevention measure. See, Elon Musk just wants to get out there and, oh, I'm saving this. What he's really doing is, and I've talked about this in other videos, he's keeping his own companies from being investigated by these agencies. That's why he's closing them all. It has nothing to do with saving money for the American people. The money he saves, he wants to spend on his own companies. Well, first of all, that's why conflict of interest laws exist, and they're all being broken right now. Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected, Musk said. Nobody's going to bat 1,000. We will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. Yeah, but he's batting like 50. If you know batting averages, that's not good. Okay, guys, so I said I was going to have somebody on who explains it even better. Shout out to Tizzy Ent, I think his name is. Go follow him on TikTok. But he has a really good explanation of this Musk error.
Have set their sights on Social Security, and he's already claiming massive fraud, with his first claim being that there are 150-year-olds who are collecting Social Security. And as he put it, I don't know any 150-year-olds, do you? And right-wing Twitter has just gone apeshit with this. So spoiler alert, no, 150-year-olds are not collecting Social Security. And if Elon Musk had just made up a lie and said it, that would be bad. It would be really bad. But he didn't do that. The reality of why he made that claim is actually kind of worse. So, of course, people inevitably start looking into why would he make this claim. Computer programmers quickly claimed that the 150 figure was not evidence of fraud, but rather the result.
Spoiler alert, he made the claim because he's stupid.
Result of a weird quirk of the Social Security Administration benefits system, which was largely written in COBOL, a 60-year-old programming language that undergrids SSA's database as well as systems from many other U.S. government agencies. Because COBOL does not have a date type, some implementations rely instead on a system whereby all dates are coded to a reference point. The most commonly used is May 20th, 1875, as this was the date of an international standard-setting conference held in Paris. The people aren't 150 years old. The system, if it wasn't given an age at a key point, has to assign something and assigns an arbitrary date that then made people appear in the system to be 150 years old. But here's the thing. If the system thought someone was 150 years old, it wouldn't be paying them, because back in 2015, they implemented a system where no one can receive benefits if they're 115 years old or older. And you may think 115 seems like, yeah, the system really does like catch people when they die and not pay them. But they put that in there just in case someone put a comma or a dot in the wrong place. But you can forget about that because Elon's already on to the next thing, claiming that more than 394 million people are eligible for Social Security when our population is only around 334 million. Yes, there's far more eligible Social Security members than there are citizens in the USA. This might be the biggest fraud in history. Again, no. The fact that Social Security system contains millions of entries from people who are dead is likely distinct from a potential COBOL-caused error, and also not news. A report written by the SSA's Inspector General in 2023 found that 98% of those aged 100 or older in the Social Security database are not in receipt of benefits. The report added that the database would not be updated because it would cost too much money to do so. Basically, it's just keeping people in there, but they've already set other checks and balances.
This is what happens when you have untrained people there, jumping to conclusions. Elon Musk and his band of little Nazi shitlers out there, they have no idea what they're doing and they're just messing shit up. Again, the Silicon Valley move fast and break shit. That doesn't work with the federal government. It's going to set the government back for years and years and years. And all you people who voted for Trump, if you don't get your Social Security checks, you know why.
Balances in place to make sure that people aren't getting paid that don't exist or who have died. And to revamp the whole system would cost so much money that they just go, this is an understood thing. It's not understood by Elon Musk and his Doge team because they don't know about this. Now, they could know about it by simply speaking to professionals at Social Security, but that could prove difficult when they've already forced so many out. Social Security head steps down over Doge access of recipient information, source says. She served there for more than 30 years. You think this woman and others there haven't tried to tell them how things work and just been ignored, and then demands made of things that she believes and knows they shouldn't have access to? So she literally, in protest, has had to resign? You think that's not happening? Oh, but don't you worry about the world's richest man and his team of inexperienced children having access to things like your Social Security, because the White House says Musk is not a Doge employee and has no authority to make decisions. He has the authority to go into the Oval Office, not even wearing a fucking tie, and hold a press conference while the president, who was elected, sits there silently at his desk, and this guy's 4-year-old picks his nose and rubs it on the Resolute desk. He has the authority to do that, but he doesn't have the authority to make decisions about Doge. And if you believe this, I have several bridges I'd like to sell you. It is unacceptable, and we should be making that clear at every opportunity. One thing you can do is call your representative, not email.
Yeah, guys, same thing I say all the time, call your representative. Anyway, shout out to Tizzy Ent. I think that's how you say it. And I got a request in my comments. Keep commenting, guys, by the way. I answer all the comments I can. But the request was for links to articles, and I'm going to start linking all the articles in the description and the TikTokers that I use. So go ahead and look down in the description if you want to see where I'm getting this information from, if you want to look into it further yourself, if you want to follow these guys. This guy has great info out there, so go ahead and follow him.
Did you notice the gesture of X when Elon Musk was speaking? He needs to stop bringing his son around because X is spilling his secrets. X is the first child to appear in the Oval Office in 63 years. The last one was John Kennedy's son in 19...
Elon Musk has 12 kids, if you didn't know it, by like 3 or 4 different women. He just had another one who he was trying to keep it under wraps with a right-wing, a MAGA influencer, this good-looking 25-year-old girl, which, I have no issues with him going out with younger women. I have a much younger girlfriend, but he's just out there procreating with all kinds of women. He's just a disgusting person, basically.
In 1962, but there has one glaring difference between these two situations. JFK Jr. never had criticisms of his father while the press was there. Little X, on the other hand, has a lot to say.
Restore democracy.
And he also said this.
From one year to the next are the same. And there
A 4-year-old doesn't just have a profound moment where he talks back to Trump. Look at his gestures. He's just imitating. Now it's clear that that kid is just
Exactly. This kid hears this stuff at home from his dad talking shit about Trump. I'm sure he does all the time. Like, oh, the old dotard, he's just my puppet. And he's, telling him to shut up, shut the fuck up and stuff like that. Trump in the Oval Office. And, he gets that from his dad, obviously.
parroting what he hears around him. But who did say these words to whom? A reasonable speculation is that Trump must have said these words to Elon Musk in front of X, and it is very telling. Trump once publicly stated that Musk would never become the president because he was not born in the United States. Musk can only pin his hopes on little X. It seems that he has premeditatedly taken his son to participate in political activities. More importantly, little X has already made his mark on this oval table in his own unique way.
Did you catch that in his own unique way? Picking his nose and wiping on the table?
Yes. The Department of Government Efficiency strikes again. This time, Musk's crack team of teenagers with Excel spreadsheets somehow fired the people who manage America's nuclear weapons stockpile. That's right, Doge apparently didn't realize the National Nuclear Security Administration, NNSA, oversees our nuclear arsenal before gutting 400.
Yeah, so now the government is scrambling to get these people back at work. They have high levels of clearances. They're not people you could just hire off the street. And they don't want to come back to work because they were fired indiscriminately by Elon Musk, an unelected. He doesn't deserve the appointment he has. He wasn't confirmed by the Senate. He shouldn't be out there firing people. And these are high-level people. They look after our nuclear weapons and our whole nuclear arsenal and keep us from blowing ourselves up.
100 employees in a cost-cutting purge. Whoops, classic mistake. Now the NNSA is scrambling to rehire people with high-level security clearances, specialized training, and knowledge of how to not accidentally trigger the apocalypse. But as one former NNSA administrator put it, those experts are never going to come back because, shockingly, people don't like getting fired by a 19-year-old intern with a crypto obsession. And Congress freaking out. Because when it comes to maintaining America's nuclear deterrent, even small mistakes can be catastrophic. But hey, at least Doge is saving money. Just, not the country.
Something is happening with Doge because the White House just tipped their hand and their cards are shit. In fact, I'm starting to think their lawyers may have told them what Musk is doing is illegal because they just released a statement saying that Musk is not technically a part of Doge and instead that he is a senior White House advisor. Why would they say that the guy who invented Doge, who named it after his own meme coin and who pushed out Vivek as the co-leader of Doge on day one is not part of Doge? It has to be because their lawyers told them to. When Musk was in the White House and somehow managed to put baby in the corner in an oval room, he told us Doge would be maximally transparent. We'll come back to that in a second. But in this Justice Department statement where they say Musk isn't in charge of Doge, they say it's because he is not U.S. Doge Service Administrator, which is the position that officially leads Doge based on Trump's executive order that established it. But in that same legal statement, they do not say who the current U.S. Doge Service Administrator is, which begs the question, who is running Doge? Remember when Musk said that he would be maximally transparent? He said it was transparent specifically because they posted their actions on X. So I went to X and asked Grok, and it said.
So Musk is not being transparent. He's hiding his tax returns, his personal tax returns, because he doesn't want his conflicts of interest to show up. And he did some tricky financial things with Twitter when he bought it and all this stuff. And he could never pass or get the security clearances. For one, he's got passports in several countries. He talks to Vladimir Putin on the phone. He could never get the security clearances he needs to have the job he's in. That's why they're covering it up now. That's why they're running scared, because it's all illegal.
The current administrator of the U.S. Doge Service is Mina Sang. Who is Mina Sang? He was Joe Biden's director of the U.S. Digital Service, which Trump renamed to the U.S. Doge Service. Sang left office on January 20th with Joe Biden, which begs the question, who is her successor?
Okay, guys, they're full of shit. You could watch the rest of this video. It'll be linked below. Comment below. See you later.